Hey guys, Kenny here. I I was requested to talk about this, but first I wanted to talk about my early school years, like from the 80s to elementary school. What I mainly remember is mostly about my disability. Uh, I was picked on a lot, beat up. And there was one teacher I had that allowed the kids to make fun of me and beat me up and call me names. And I had a math teacher, who used to lock me up in this little seclusion room or closet in his classroom because I refused to do a math paper. He got fired quick. So, from what my mom told me, and then it was just tough, even when I was living at home, because most of the time I was watching the cartoon Transformers. That was really what made me start getting competent, made me start learning for myself. And then flashcard videotapes, that was another way for me to learn. I just learn in general, learn letters and how to form words. So the 80s were pretty tense for me, and also during the first 2.5 to 3 years of my life before I was adopted with the family that I'm with now, who I've been with for 8, 7, hold on, 0, 26 years I've been with them. Before I was adopted, the mom I had was 16, and she didn't know how to take care of me. So she used to put me in a closet a lot. I remember that, and I think I also remember being put into a car trunk when I was young, when I was a baby, and I used to hear flies and insects. That's what made me so afraid of bugs. But I've gotten more used to bugs through the years since then. And she used to also leave a lot, so she would just leave a little bowl of cereal for me to eat. And also she used to be around a lot of guys, so they would abuse me and neglect me. But I got out of that. Took a while, like a few years, but I was able to get away from it. And then so 80s, like school wise, was tough, and then my personal life, it was tough. And then when the 90s started getting a little easier. We moved here to Texas in 1986. And we moved to Houston first, and I think that was when I went to Garfield Elementary. That was a good time. I really did like that time in my life. I really wasn't made fun of or beat up and picked on it during that time. Because I think my uncle was one of my uncles was the principal there. Houston. Then we moved to Waxahachie. That was a fun time. I think that was around the first time when I started using the internet. And I went to a few different schools. I didn't ever. I don't remember what school it was that I went to during when we were in Waxahachie for some reason. It's been up. It's been about 20 years since I went there, and but that was a fun time. I used to play on the playground and playing there, and I used to ride my bike there. So riding my bike and playing on the playground was a good way for me to get away from my troubles at home and at school. It was in Waxahachie, I think, when I started having training on how to see with my eyes. I used to do this daily training for my eyes. I can't remember what exactly it was. My dad worked with me most of the time on it. In fact, I think he was the main one who worked with me on it. It was like eye exercises. That also helped me in school. And then Waxahachie, and then we moved to where we are now, Dallas. We lived in Buckner Children's Home. And I think I started going to S.S. Connor Elementary. And man, that was tough. I learned a lot. It was a very good education. But that's the time I remember the most, being picked on, being made fun of, and being called names. And I used to get beat up a lot. And the way it happened, I think I used to eat in the cafeteria, and it's like whenever I went outside, it was almost guaranteed I would be in a fight of some kind. But I did play out there quite a bit. I used to play on the swing, these little barrel things I used to crawl through, and then this like jungle gym bar, I used to play on that. So it was half fun and half tough. That was really the toughest time for me in school, next to my time in school during the 80s. And now, but I was able to live through that, and my mom helped me get through it. Like I think just talking with the teachers and talking with the kids to make them stop doing that. And my 5th grade teacher was the very first teacher really who believed in that I was able to do things on my own, that I was smart, and he encouraged me to do things that benefited me and also the class. So I still remember him to this day. And then my 6th grade year teacher, she was even better. I remember her helping me out a lot during class. And then my junior high school, I was picked on and made fun of and called names during that time, but not much. There was really one boy who picked on me during my 7th grade year. And then one day I had enough, so I started beating him up. Ever since then, I was never made fun of, picked on, or called names. And then my 8th grade year, it was the last part of that year I started just getting migraine headaches, but other than that, my 8th grade year was perfect, flawless. And then my 7th grade year was really fun. We used to get these points for doing good things in class and not saying something like mines. I used to get a lot of Goosebumps books, and from the 80s to 95 I used to take a lot of prescription medication. There was one medication I took during elementary school that made me drowsy, so I fell asleep. And then my junior high school, I was taking so much medication that I got an allergic reaction,